Alright, so I'm gonna start off first by showing you guys this beautiful painted rock that my cousin did. I promised him I was gonna put it in my next YouTube video, so here it is. Alright, to really start now, you're gonna need 2 different colors of thread, or you could do one, it's your choice. I'm using Aunt Lydia's crochet thread fashion 3, size 1, super fine. You're gonna need a darning needle and a crochet hook size 2.7. So this is one of the smaller ones. This is what I use when I'm using crochet thread and I'm doing something as delicately detailed as these flowers. So I'm going to start with beige, and as always we start with a slip knot. So we're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch into the first chain, and then we're going to chain 3 again. This is the alternate starting that I mentioned in my crochet basics video to a magic circle. So now we're just going to work 11 double crochets into the center of this. On your first try it might be a little hard to find it, but you'll see it there. So you're just gonna work 11 double crochets into that, and our first chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet, so at the end we're going to have 12. So I'm just going to do this over because that was not the center. Whoops. There we go. And I will meet you back when we have 12. Okay, now that we have 11 double crochets, we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first chain 3 and then chain 3 again. Now we're going to get into the petals portion. So we're going to double crochet into the same stitch that we just did our chain 3 in, and we're going to do that again, and then we're going to slip stitch into that same. So we just did 2 double crochets and a slip stitch into the same chain as our chain 3, and now we're going to skip 2 double crochets and double crochet into the next chain here. And in this stitch we're going to do 3 double crochets and a slip stitch. So I don't know if you've seen it yet, but basically the pattern is 3 double crochets and a slip stitch, and you're going to skip 2 double crochets around. So since we have 12 double crochets for the middle of our flower, we're going to have 6 petals all around. So the first chain 3 that we did counted as a double crochet, so this is 3 double crochets and this is 3 double crochets. So let's do it again and see if you can tell. So we're going to skip 2 double crochets and double crochet into the next stitch 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the same stitch. Let's do that again. Skip 2, put 3 double crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch. And look, so far you have even more than half of a flower. So I'm just going to do the last few with you, and then we'll see how it looks. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. It's so windy outside, I don't know if you guys can hear it. And we only have room for one more, if you can see that. So skip 2 and double crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and slip stitch. Whoops. And there is your first flower. So really all I do now is just cut off the end and pull the yarn through and tighten, and I just put that aside and make the rest of my flowers, and then I come together and attach them with my darning needle. So I'm going to make 3 beige flowers and 2 white flowers, because all of my bookmarks are just 5 flowers. Right, so my phone just died, and I was saying that I'm going to make 3 beige flowers and 2 white flowers, because all of my bookmarks are made with 5 flowers, and the 2 are usually the accent color and the 3 are the main color. And then I like to do this kind of stripy thing for the tassel, which we'll get to soon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make the other 4 flowers off camera, and if you need to go back to see how I made the first one, you can do that, and meet me back when you have all 5. So now we have 5 flowers, 3 beige, 2 white, or whatever color you choose. And this is honestly my least favorite part, is attaching them. So let me just lay it out. It's going to look like this before we attach the tassels. So what happens is the tail that you have is going to be weaved into the top of the next flower. So you put the backs together, bottom up, bottoms facing opposite directions, and you just grab your darning needle and weave it through. I think there should be a certain method of weaving them to the top, but really I just find a way, and I think I go right and then left, and sometimes I end up in the sides of the petal. Mainly I do it in the middle, and then I kind of get these 2 sides here, and then it just folds back up and I flatten it out. So I wish I could tell you there was a method for this, but really you just weave it the best you can, tie a knot, and tighten it. Actually, you could just weave it through once, I guess, and tie a knot in the back, but I try and do it as neat as I can so that the people I'm selling it to can't really see it. And I even get some tacky glue sometimes, fabric glue, and glue it down to make it look even neater if I have an end that's still sticking out. So I'm just gonna speed through this, and show you how to do the tassels when I'm finished, because there's no method to my madness, honestly. So I'll see you when I'm finished. Okay, so all of our flowers are now attached. I weaved all of them. It actually didn't take that long. And then the two ends that I had, I just tied them together. Not super tight, but I tied them twice, made a knot, and clipped off the end. I think I'm just gonna get my fabric glue and glue these little stragglies down. You definitely don't need fabric glue, but I'm just gonna use it because I'm kind of lazy. And now comes my favorite part, the tassel. So what I'm gonna do is get I get a pretty long string, so can't really show you completely, but I'm just gonna get a long piece of yarn and double it. I'm gonna fold it on top of itself. I'm gonna fold the strands on top of each other about 6 or 7 times. I definitely don't count it, probably should, but just until I think it looks thick enough in my eyes. So I didn't count. You guys can count how many times that was, but I'm just gonna cut it now. And this doubled is going to be your tassel. So just like this, it's not really anything just yet. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm gonna put it through my needle, and then I'm gonna get the end of my bookmark and just find wherever the hole is near the middle. Just focus that. I'm gonna stick that through and then pull. It's gonna be a little tough because it's thick and you put it through a small hole, but once you get there, it's pretty easy. And I probably could have done some more actually, because this seems a bit thin and I definitely didn't need this much yarn, but this is normally how I do it, very quickly. So now that you have that and you kind of even it up at the ends, oops, now I'm going to just tie it, and I try and do this as neat as I can so that I can get it looking nice at the end. So I tighten that, make sure it's as close to the end as possible, the end of the flower, and then I cut the ends that are loops. So I just make sure there's no more loops on that. So simple, just a few snips. And then, because I'm a perfectionist, I go back through every strand and I make sure that they are tight. So I just pull on each one of those. Maybe you could see why this is my favorite part. Okay, now I look at that. I love how that looks. It could definitely be a bit thicker. And normally when I have 2 colors, I try and add a couple strands of the accent color in there, but I didn't do it this time just because I actually forgot. So now I try and, straighten that out a bit, and I try and get all of them the same length, and do it pretty straight across. So I just eyeball it and cut the length that I would want. So this one is gonna be pretty long because sometimes I do it and it ends up being shorter than I wanted. So I'm just gonna do it about here. Try and get them all in one go, but that doesn't always happen. Throw away the rest. Oh, this should have been in there as well. Let me just cut this off. And there you go. Yeah, you have your first flower crochet bookmark ready to be placed in a book. And just, you know, grab a cup of tea, grab your favorite book, have your bookmark ready to go. And yeah,